Now you guys know I can't go too long without putting a little hot rod clip in my video, so here's a couple of clips of my hot rod. Enjoy, guys, and then on to your video. Okay, we got a spring on that dipstick too, Gums.
So much pressure it blows plumb out. It's a 460 over, flat top, distance, aluminum heads.
Gear drive.
Way too much shit for everyday driving, but that's the way we like them.
Yeah.
I'm around
12, 13 inches.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Perfect.
You must stop by the Exxon.
What kind of carburetor, Gums?
850 Gums.
Bad. Boy, look at the size of those headers, Gums.
Yeah, they need to be coated, Gums.
They're bad.
Should have spent another 600 having coated, Gums. Yeah, Gums.
Crank it up, Gums. Do a burnout.
Oh, the spring, Gums.
Oh, yeah. Do the spring. What, Gums?
Attack, Gums.
What's wrong with it?
It revs too fast.
That's good, Gums. It does run. You guys want to see my baby? There it is. My influences in bodybuilding. What's up, Internet? Jason English of Big J's Extreme Fitness. Today's the 19th of June, 2012. And here's my story, guys. Thanks for your interest. Now, I want to back up just a notch. That's me in the black tank top. I was probably 220 plus pounds. Like I say in my other videos, just a big old fat farm boy that played football. But this is where it really all began for me. And I want to mention somebody's name real quick. He actually still works out at my gym. His name is Paul Gilson. And he is honestly probably another one of the influences why I got into weightlifting. I know most of you guys are probably too young to remember when Arnold was winning the Olympias, but I do remember, of course I wasn't watching it, but I remember his name being mentioned in several videos and television shows and magazines. Big Lee Haney came along in 1984 and started sweeping the world with his mass and size and definition and cuts for being as big as he was, and he won until 1989. And that was, of course, during the time that I was in the military, so I was really watching him closely, and he was a big influence on my training. Boy, here's a great picture in bodybuilding. Of course, you know who that is. That's Mr. Dorian Yates, and I actually got a chance to meet with and hang out with and work out with him back in it's either 96 or 97. But here is my collage I made up for him years ago. He won until 92, and he won on again up until Ronnie won it in 90, I guess it was 98, but Big Dorian, he actually wrote me a letter from his gym and temple there. See there? Many thanks, blah, blah, blah. Dorian Yates. So, hats off to one of the awesomest bodybuilders in bodybuilding, which I follow his training techniques to this day, and that's Mr. Dorian Yates. When I was in the military, and this is at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, pay no attention to the beer bottle in his hand and the cigarette in his other hand, but this is Mr. Herschel Walker. He was probably 240, 250 pounds. He was just about to get out of the service. We were having our, party there for his ETS party, and he was one big, strong glute. So he was one of my first influences while I was in the military in the 80s. Boy, it'd be awesome to run into this guy again, Mr. Brian Placid. He was a big, swole dude, very strong in his bench press, and that was in the mid to late 80s. He was a good influence on me in training with weights as well. And don't pay attention to that beer he's drinking there. There's something about beer and working out that kind of goes together, especially if you're a big old guy. Now this is still in Europe. That's actually George Ulrich, Mr. Germany. He was Mr. Germany from 84 to 86, I believe. And then that's old John Baker, Mr. Arizona, down at the bottom there. And of course that's me in the back with an old Pavlov dog shirt. But that's when I really started working out with some influential guys that kind of knew what they were, or they really knew what they were doing. And again, George Ulrich, John Baker, and myself there. That's another awesome picture of big George Ulrich, John Baker, and myself. And I forgot to mention, I ran into Barry DeMay at this gym. This was George's gym. Had a phenomenal opportunity to train with the Flexing Dutchman, if some of you guys remember way back. And I actually ran into Aaron the Batman Baker, not at this gym, but in matter of fact, it might have been in Berlin. But I've also trained with him here in America a couple times too, backstage, pumping up for a contest or guest posing, whatever. But I really like this picture here. Now, who knows that guy right there? That's Mr. Vince Taylor. He was one of the winningest bodybuilders in the 80s and 90s. And then that's yours truly, Big J. Actually, kind of medium-sized J, not that big yet. But that's a picture. I actually trained with him in Berlin, Germany, several times, and he and I got to become close friends. This was a very influential guy there. That's Bob Reese, Mr. Natural Colorado. That's when I was stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado. And he really got me tuned into nutrition. He was one of the smartest guys that I had met up until then on nutrition. We didn't know what we were doing back then, but this guy sure did. Bob Reese. I know. Still kind of medium J. That was one of my first contests, I believe. I don't remember what the date was, but that was one of my first photo shoots. I was proud of myself then. Now this was one of my trainers, Bryant Griffin. Now look here. He was always winning shows. He was one big dude, and that's actually him there, and then helping me pump up backstage. My tan was way too dark there and not enough on my face, but I did well in that contest. But he was a phenomenal influence and trainer as well. He was kind of the first part of what I really started, when I started learning intensity. That was like in 94, 95. Those years are kind of slipping by. I know that's hard to see, but that's also a picture of... that's me, and then that's Bryant Griffin in the background there. Of course, you can't see how huge he really is, but he was doing some posing training with me there. Big Mark Hanlon. Rest in peace, brother. Love you and miss you, man. Lost Mark back in 2007, and there's a picture of he and I right there at the bottom. And I've mentioned him several times before and talked about him, but he absolutely, without a doubt, was the most influential bodybuilder and trainer that I'd ever had in my entire life. We sure do miss him. There's a good one of Branch on the left, Mark in the middle, and then me on the right. Again, I know it's blurry, but you guys were asking for influences. Two of the most positive influences in my bodybuilding career ever. Another real quick couple of myself, and then Mark, and then Branch there. Well, I know I've showed this picture 1,000 times too, but that's a picture of Ronnie actually before he was Mr. Olympia, and there's me on the right there. Don't mind the fanny pack. And then there's another picture there. I used to run his competitions in Texas, as well as had the golden opportunity to train legs with him. And I used to have small legs until he gave me some insight on training with the incredibly high reps that I participate in now, as well as what Branch does. So there's big Ronnie Coleman, big influence on my leg training days. Well, this is what you get from training with big Ronnie and Mark and Branch and Gus Carter and Jay Moore and all those monsters up there at Metroflex Gym. Big Brian Dobson. Quite a bit of difference there from the first picture I showed you in this pose. Well, if we're going to compare notes, we might as well just do it. Oh, yeah. There's a considerable difference. Get over, Jason. Let Jason show his pose. And then there, even better. Now, we can't leave out Joe York. That's a back picture of us, but we were posing in the mirror. And I know it's going to be crappy and blurry, but I just don't have a whole lot of stuff. But that's me there on the right and Joe York. And that's actually Ronnie Schweier for all you old-timers up there on the top picture. Another most muscular shot there. And again, I know it's a crappy picture, but that's big Joe York. A big influence of mine before I started training with Branch. Now there's one of Ronnie Schweier and I'd have to say that the reason that I really started posing good, and I'm not saying I'm great, but Ronnie was phenomenal. And I posed with him at Marvin Meinstein's place and watched him, and he is one of my biggest influences on my posing technique. And you can actually watch some of my old posing videos and see how I pose, and of course you can look him up on YouTube and see his posing technique. Well, no introduction needed here. Mr. Branch Warren, trained with him from 97 to 02, and he was without a doubt my best training partner ever, and one of the most influential bodybuilders that I ever trained with. And there's a picture of he and I in the bottom there, but he definitely continues to define intensity. We'll pull out an old picture of Branch. I think that was the year he turned pro. I know that was the Southwest USA Championship, and he blew that contest away. But there's a picture of Branch and I. I've showed this 100 times, but a lot of new subscribers. That's Branch there in the red shirt, and that's me in the white shirt, and I believe I was 300 and something pounds there. But there's another one, a big Branch. Again, most influential bodybuilder ever to train with. Most hardcore and intense. And I got to throw my brother Big Scott Lott in the mix. He was on up there with Branch Warren. There's actually Branch and myself and Drawer, and there's Big Scott there, and that's squats helping me spot. I don't know if that was 585, I'm not sure how much that was, but Big Scott Boy, you want some intense workouts, you train with this guy right here. He brings it all to the gym. Good influence to stay motivated in bodybuilding. Now, if you look at some of my old videos back 3 years ago, this is old Jeremy Cummings, and I trained him back in the 90s, and he was Mr. Team Metroplex Heavyweight 1996, won his very first contest. That's a picture of me and him in 96, and then that's a recent picture of he and I in like 2011 or 10 or so. But anyway, there's another influence in my bodybuilding. Although I trained him when he come back a year or two ago and started training with me, he was a big influence to keeping me young and strong in the gym. Thanks, Jeremy. Here's another influence in my bodybuilding days, and it's real recent. I don't know, maybe a year old, but that's old Gus the Bus Carter and myself there. And then there's another picture of me and Gus. He trained up there at Metroflex with Ronnie, Branch, and all those guys, and he's about my age, so he keeps me motivated to keep training hard too. He's a professional masters bodybuilder. Okay, yes, I did some modeling. Happy? And some boxing. Look at that shiner. Hey, let's go back to influences. Oh, Tom Platz. I had a video of me at the Ronnie Coleman, and I did say that I saw him there. He was actually my instructor when I first got certified through the ISSA in '94, I think it was. But he was a big influence on leg training because I had real small legs to begin with, but later brought them out from training like this madman. This is one of my pictures. It's on Twitter. It's actually my Twitter icon. I don't know why my head's cut off, but there's the American flag and the rest of my head. And you can reach me at Twitter at BGDADJ. Again, Twitter is BGDADJ. And I'm sure with the hat I'm wearing, everybody's going to be like, Jason, were you with the power team? Yeah, every time they came into town, there's all the power team there. Not all of them, but the 3 that would stay in Texas. But I would let them train at my facility, and I actually help nutrition programs for them, as well as break some stuff every now and then. So there's the power team there. Thanks for the hat, guys.
This one is listening to Big Dave Extreme Fitness.
Thanks for the spot. Give me the camera.
No problem.
Good job. That's right there.
Hey, you want some beer, man?
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's go.
Oh shit, I forgot the beer.
Now, this is my 30th year of working out, okay? I started working out 30 years ago this year, and there's been so many people that has influenced me along the way, and if I forgot your name or forgot to mention you and you're watching this video, leave me a comment. And like I said before, I can't really put a finger on one person. So many influences in my career with the nutrition and the powerlifting and the grip training and the bodybuilding and the posing, choreography. It just goes on and on. And again, all of you YouTubers, I mean, I don't want to start mentioning names because I'll forget somebody, but every single YouTuber that I subscribe to, that I comment to, that I send videos to, thank you so much. And you guys know who you are. Another really positive influence on my training today comes from Fusion Bodybuilding. Fantastic staff, great product. I was 10 years without supplements, and I just ordered some about 2 months ago. I've been going strong on it, and everything has been fantastic. Okay, if you want more information on those guys, go to fusionbodybuilding.com. They have a Twitter, they have emails, they have an 800 number you can call and get more information there. But they are very supportive, and they have really encouraged me to continue to train at my age as hardcore as I have up until now. So thumbs up to Fusion Bodybuilding. And don't forget where you came from, guys. Stay humble, stay hardcore, stay friendly. We're all brothers and sisters in iron. Until next time, intensity rules, train hardcore, and we'll see you next video.